So here are all our lovely ingredients to make our meatless sweet and spicy collard greens. So we have our greens, of course. You have about 1/4 of a white onion chopped up. Red pepper, 1/3 chopped up. You can use green pepper, but I prefer red pepper. 2 cloves of garlic chopped up. Cayenne, which is going to give it the spicy. Liquid smoke, which is going to give it a meaty flavor, even though we're not putting any meat inside of it. Distilled white vinegar, because you have to put vinegar in collard greens. You just do. Bouillon. This better than bouillon. We're going to add this to water and boil our collard greens in it. It's really delicious, and I also feel like I just do everything with this now that I'm vegan. Garlic powder, onion powder, agave, which is going to give it the sweetness. You can use regular sugar, but agave is just a little bit better for you and easier on your system. And of course, some vegan butter, because you cannot have collard greens without butter. You just can't. So we have a regular bundle of greens here, and the only thing that we're going to do is take these long stalks off and cut it into small pieces. Over here, I have warm water with salt in them so that we can clean the collard greens off, which is super important. Collard greens come out of the ground. They're not a fruit. Okay, so they have a lot of dirt on them and like excess debris, and you definitely don't want to ingest it. So you want to cut those until you have just a little bit of stem left. You don't want too much stem because it's going to increase the cooking time. Excellent. So what you're going to do now is just get the greens, roll them up, and cut them into bite-sized pieces. Toss them in the water, give them a good slosh around, and then you're ready to go. I like to put my cutting board right here by the edge of the sink so that I can just swipe them right in the water. Some people like to use cold water. I use the warm water because it helps the greens to wilt a little bit, which is a lot better when you have a smaller pot to use. And I like to use warm water because it helps the salt to dissolve faster. So I'm doing the same thing, and this is just a regular bundle of greens that I got from the grocery store. Nothing fancy about it. A lot of people think that when you're cooking vegan, you have to do all these fancy ingredients, and that just isn't true. So once again, rolling the leaves up just like this. Super easy. Slicing them down, and we're going to toss them in the water. While I'm washing my greens over here, I actually have a pot with vegetable broth on. Now, normally people just use regular water to cook their greens in, but I like using vegetable broth because it adds more flavor. And when you're not using actual meat, you have to do the most you can to put as much flavor as possible. So all of the salt is going to make the dirt fall to the bottom. And what I like to do after giving them a general mix around, I like to take a couple of the leaves and just rub them together and then toss them to the side until you get done with the whole bunch. And it helps more of the sand, the dirt, the gunk, the grudge to fall off. It's not a long or even a strenuous process. Just need to get all of the dirt off. Ooh. That's an ugly piece. Now I'm just going to get some pieces from the bottom. And we are all set. Definitely clean. Now that you've got all of your greens inside of the pot, remember, you definitely want to keep moving them around until all of them or most of them are submerged in the water. And the reason for that is you want to be able to cover it. Right now I have this on a high, medium-high heat. Okay? And so before we get ready to cover it, we're going to add some more ingredients. All right? And these are the ingredients that you want to cook inside of it. We're going to do some liquid smoke, probably about a couple of teaspoons of liquid smoke, which is really going to give it that flavor like you cooked it in meat. So I'd say about 3 teaspoons of liquid smoke. You want to add your garlic powder to enhance the flavor of the garlic you already added, about a tablespoon. Same thing with your onion powder, about a tablespoon of that. Your vinegar, you're going to add 1 tablespoon of vinegar, and this is something that you can keep adding as you see fit. If you need a little bit more, if you want a little bit less, you can add less than that and keep going at the process as it's cooking. You can check in with that. And if you want a healthier option, you can use apple cider vinegar. So we're going to do about a tablespoon of vinegar, and this is good because it helps the greens to break down as well. All right. Last but not least, a little bit of cayenne pepper, or if you have just hot pepper in your house, like a Scotch bonnet, you can use that as well. So we're using about a ½ teaspoon of cayenne pepper. And now we're going to give this a good mix so that all of that gets into the water that is cooking in with the onions and the pepper and the garlic. And the very last thing that we're going to add at the end is going to be the agave. So right now, I'm going to mix that up a little bit and cover it. Whatever means. If you have a pot cover, use a pot cover. If you have a plate, use a plate. Cover it up and put the heat down to medium. Alright guys, so greens are finally done. Cooked them for the whole 45 minutes. They should be soft and tender. Removing the top right now. I can't wait to taste these damn greens. Those look good. So I'm going to give them a quick stir. Make sure all of that flavor gets in there. And then I'm going to put some right in my bowl and taste it. This looks good. I'm gonna get a couple from the bottom because that's where like the onions and stuff are. Ooh. And these are our no meat, 100% vegan, spicy and sweet greens, or sweet and spicy, however you want to say it. So let me get a taste. And this is hella hot because clearly it just came out of the pot. Perfect. Cayenne makes it spicy. The agave gives it nice and sweet. The vinegar balances the flavor across, like it builds a bridge for the spicy and the sweet. And if you notice, I didn't put any salt in it because I used the vegetable broth. The bouillon that I had was salty enough. I didn't have to add any salt. It's perfect.